The game has changed, which is to our benefit on one level and then to our detriment on another, because most of the people who run these big tech platforms are communists and hate Americans and America. So let's talk about this. We got into this censorship stuff yesterday with Rogan and with conservative hosts and influencers on YouTube and the suppression that's happening there. And I want to bring in a good friend of the show who is the national spokesperson for Parler, Amy Robbins, to discuss this. Amy, it's good to see you again.
What's up, Drew? How are you?
I am doing splendid, thank you.
Splendid.
I love where you at. Like, where are you? It's like a...
Well, I'm in the Parler lounge, but I was just trying to match the vibe of the palm trees in your background. So I hope I accomplished that.
Oh, you did. Like, I feel like I need to put a white blazer on, roll the sleeves up, bring me something special that like fits the vibe drink-wise over here, guys. So we talked about this some yesterday, and obviously censorship has been a thing for a long time. I can speak personally to it. I'm sure you can as well. This has been something that's been going on, and there kind of was this lull. It was still happening, but just not to, the extremes that it has before. And then it starts to ramp up. And I can tell you for us, for some of the publisher sites that we run and some of the other clients and projects that we work on, everything has taken a hit big time over the last several weeks. And then you see all these text messages start to come out for big name hosts like Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool, and the like. And you can pop them up on the screen there, Disco. But, you've got the Nico Collins text to all of these people. There it is. Almost. Sending them basically an opportunity to comment on the fact that they're outing them and coordinating with YouTube and Google writ large to censor them and giving them a chance. And most of them have said some choice words in their response back, and good for them because they should. But you see this, and you've seen this story. You and I texted about this. What was your response when you saw all of these different text threads out there?
Well, another day, another radical left-wing media organization stronghold attempt is honestly where I feel like we're at right now in this country, because we've been hearing about attacks on our freedom of speech really for the last several months leading up to the election. And this is no different. It kind of reminded me, do you remember when GARM tried to do the same thing? It's the Global Alliance of Responsible Media, I think is the total, acronym of that. But basically, they tried to do the same thing. They have this whole network of advertisers, and they try to stronghold them into a coordinated boycott, specifically against X at that time, but traditionally just they target conservative outlets and conservative influencers. And that's exactly what Media Matters and the New York Times was trying to do. And let me remind everybody, if you're not familiar with Media Matters, it was founded in 2004 by David Brock, who is a very close Clinton ally, for the sole purpose of being a watchdog, is what they call themselves. But it's all geared towards shutting down and silencing conservative voices. And so, what they did, I want to read something from Ben Shapiro, because I thought he really nailed it on the head. He said, that's the entire game here, is to run an article in America's most trusted newspaper that declares pretty much every major conservative a purveyor of misinformation on YouTube, thus strong-arming YouTube into taking action against conservatives. So that's what we're seeing. This is a game that they're trying to play, and I'm glad that people like Elon and Ben Shapiro are using those choice words to basically tell them to back off.
Yeah, as they should, because it's so ridiculous. First of all, as you said, it's all of these organizations. Media Matters is the prime example, obviously, because it's involved in this particular story and what's going on with the New York Times and Google. But all of them are so deliberately partisan. And not just like slightly partisan, like radically partisan, radically left, who have a very, very big goal and agenda of silencing conservative voices. And so you take this article and you write this article, which is laughable. Ben's right. That's how people view it as America's most trusted newspaper. I don't know who still falls in that camp and gets their news there, but whatever, different story. But they're trying to out people and punish people in an alliance with Media Matters, New York Times, and Google here. And then on the platform itself, YouTube specifically, who of course is under Google, they ask Nico whatever his name is in the text message, doesn't matter, no one cares, is asking these people, are you a part of the partner program? Are you part of this and that? And what's so ridiculous about this, and even aside from this article, is on YouTube proper, let's pretend that this article wasn't happening. Their partner program basically is a self-censoring program where, hey, Drew, which this doesn't work for us because they just decided they hated us 4 years ago and have never let up. But like using me as an example, we'd love for you to be a part of the partner program. You've got a big audience. You've got a this, that, and the other. You're approved. You can make money as long as you follow all of these rules and say what we think is acceptable. So it's really crazy. And I've thought about this a bunch. I know you have. But every time I come back to it, it's just like, wow, this is absolutely insane. You're saying, yes, you can make money and enjoy the fruits of this platform if you say what we think is right.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what they're doing. And it's exactly why Parler has created a solution to that, because you think about all these creators who are spending so much time making content for these platforms. And, some of them rely on what is coming in to feed their families. They're relying on, maybe it's their sole source of income. And if they are scared to step out of line one time, then they have their entire family to think about. And so there has got to be alternatives that pop up to YouTube. And that's exactly what Parler just launched and just rolled out with Play TV. And Play TV is essentially a competitor to YouTube that's going to offer great monetization opportunities without the fear of censorship and being deplatformed on our, on this social media platform. So we need alternatives. We've got to stand in solidarity. But I will just real fast want to point out some very particular timing that this came out against Ben Shapiro. You think about what is happening in about 5 days from now. We've got an election coming up where people are flocking to alternative sources to get their information, to be able to make an informed decision. If they haven't already voted yet in early voting, then, and I don't know how many people are still on the line, but people are still out there looking for information. And YouTube is essentially trying to cut off the source of having free flow of information. They're trying to control the information that people see, that people hear, and essentially guide and manipulate where they want them to go and make the decision that they want them to make. And you think about all this talk of preserving democracy or preserving democratic integrity. Cutting off the information for people to find so they can make informed decisions is not protecting democratic integrity.
No, not at all. It's obviously the exact opposite. And, in line with everything that's happening here with Ben Shapiro and Tucker and all these people who got this message and are going to be mentioned and referenced in this article as they try to, defame them and demonetize them on YouTube. You've also got Joe Rogan and Trump, who had their interview blow up, right? Go huge. It goes bananas because Joe Rogan's a big deal. Trump is a big deal. You mash them together, you get an even bigger deal. And then YouTube starts doing their search ban on it. And you come to find out, and Shapiro actually referenced this in his thread there, talking about this, that 26% of Americans polled, and I don't know who did this poll, but 26%, according to one poll at least, say they get their news from YouTube. So you've got this amazing opportunity to hear this conversation of Trump speaking a week prior to the election about all sorts of stuff, to include UFC fighting, and then they pull these shenanigans. The timing is, of course, it's as obvious as can be, but that's the thing, is they're just at this point now, these big tech platforms, where they are so desperate to prevent any of this from happening and to prevent people from knowing the truth that they'll pull anything and everything to stop them. And like you said, try to usher them somewhere else to get their information where they know that the message that is sent is going to be one that falls in line with their narrative.
Well, they're terrified. Their legacy media is terrified, Drew, because nobody is watching them. Right. And so they have to go and they have to use these other platforms to basically control what everybody is hearing. Because we've said this time and time again, he who controls the information controls the people. And we know what's going on here. We're seeing it firsthand. And I'm just going to just continue to stand on my soapbox and say this, like, you've got to be on alternative platforms. Go out there and find the ones that are not going to be censoring you, not going to be censoring the information, not going to be labeling everything that you put out there as misinformation. Again, because you have to think of who is in control of labeling things misinformation. Who is setting themselves up as the arbiters of truth?
Right.
We don't do that at Parler. We let the free flow of information take place. You get to put it out there. And then you also, as a responsible adult, get to decide for yourself what you want to do with the information that you hear. Maybe you hear some crazy things and you decide, I'm just not going to do anything with that. Or maybe you actually take the time to go and dig a little bit deeper and do some research and make the decision for yourself. But, you know, we are seeing this. We knew that it was going to happen again right before the election. So I can't say I'm surprised by any of this.
No, absolutely not. And I can tell you from, you know, some of the publisher stuff that we do, like online websites that produce content, you hear the conversations that are happening out there. And I talk to a lot of colleagues in the industry trying to figure out how to navigate this yet again. Here we are again dealing with this problem where they're squeezing us out of money and resources and all the stuff that we need to keep things going. And the response everyone you get from most people is, well, hopefully things let up again after the election. But it's like, yeah, but it's got to be better than that, because, okay, let's say they do, you know, the suppression goes from 100% down to 30% after the election. Yep. You're still getting suppressed, and you're always going to have this ceiling. So that's not a solution. There has to be better solutions. And to your point, there has to be other platforms.
It's alternative ecosystems. It's no longer good enough just to have an alternative social media platform where you can just go and spew more of the same. Now you have to have an alternative to YouTube. Now you have to have an alternative to TikTok. Now you have to have, and that is the beauty of what we're doing at Parler, is we are bringing this entire ecosystem together that is decentralized, and it's giving the power back to the people. And that's ultimately what you have to have, because if you're still beholden on one platform to only one big tech, major big tech group, well, then it all kind of falls apart. So we really had to create an entire ecosystem that gives these guys a run for their money. And that's the only way that this is really going to work.
Well, and the cool thing is, you know, obviously we're friends and I support everything that you're doing as Amy Robbins, but also everything that Parler's doing. And there's the synergy there. You guys have hit all of this. You're scratching all the itches that are out there. The platform for free speech is there. It's back. Mm-hmm. All sorts of updates rolling out all the time, but it's back, and you can go log in, or you can get yourself a free account over there and get ripping again. But then you add Play TV, which is looking amazing. Been talking to some of your tech folks over there, and it's looking just awesome. As soon as we can go live there, we're going to be going live there, which I know is coming in the things. Yeah. But the platform right now is just killer. It looks good. It functions well, and it's most importantly, it's free speech friendly, which is amazing. But you've got the burst stuff, which is kind of like TikTok or Reels. There's so many things that you guys are doing, and everyone else has tried to do like a little sliver of it right, and some of them have gotten aspects of it right, but they're missing so many pieces. So I love what you guys are doing there in terms of just an all-encompassing. I mean, you really have. You've taken all the chips and just said, we're going all in on freedom. Yep. And it's been really cool to see it develop. What's the latest with Play? I know we've talked about it some here on the show, but your Play TV account and your Parler account are connected, which I think is really cool. But give people a little bit more info on Play TV.
Yeah, so Play TV so that has rolled out and launched. We've got the web version, we've got the mobile version, but the exciting new feature that we're also launching is the Burst feature. So Burst is going to be more of your short form video format that's up to 60 seconds. You know, everyone loves these short clips that they can do on TikToks, Reels, Shorts, and all of that. And you're going to have the ability to do that. And it's all integrated in one place. So while you can download them as separate apps, the really cool thing is that you have access to all of them through your Parler account, all in one place. So it's not like you have to go into Parler and then leave and go to a separate app or anything like that. It's all connected, which is great. But the really exciting piece too is the Parler Pay wallet that we have rolled out. And this is where the exciting stuff is really going to be happening, because this is where you're going to be earning digital rewards for actually uploading content to Play TV, uploading Burst, uploading content to Parler. And then not only as a creator are you going to get rewarded, the users themselves are going to get rewarded as well, Drew. And that is what is so exciting, because that is going to to give freedom back to the people, essentially. So everybody, as they're participating and engaging on any of these Parler platforms are actually going to be earning digital rewards. They're going to have some amazingly incredible things coming down the pipeline that they're going to be able to do with those rewards.
Yeah, and that is so cool because, traditionally, anyone who thinks of earning or monetizing something on a platform, you think, oh, well, that's an influencer and he's got 50, 100, 200,000 followers. Like, of course he can do that, but that doesn't count for me. That's what's so cool and innovative about what Parler's doing now is just engaging and being a part of the ecosystem over there. People get these digital rewards, and there's so much upside. You've got a free platform. It's fun. And honestly, this is starting to sound like a sales pitch, guys. It's not. This is just the truth. You've got this free platform with all these different components and all this functionality. And then whether you're a creator or just a casual consumer of news and content, there's rewards for you, and that is so cool.
Yep. And the reason we're able to do this, Drew, and I can't stress this point enough, is because we own the cloud. We own all of the tech. We are uncancelable, which makes us different than any of the other platforms out there. So as we talk about being a censor-free platform, it's not like we're going to be getting any pressure from anybody to come in and shut off your account. Right. And so that is extremely important because as we grow and as we want to continue to add things to this alternative ecosystem, we have the ability to turn it around and do it very quickly. And your data is secure. The privacy is just incredible. And so there's just a lot that we are doing that sets us apart from other social media platforms when it comes to you, the user, and what your experience is on these platforms.
Well, it's just amazing. You guys have put together something so awesome. And as Amy alluded to, there's more and more just coming. There's more updates coming, more little surprises, whatever you want to call them, coming. But all of them super, super good. So you definitely need to get back there. Go download the app if you haven't already. Go to Parler. You can go to playtv.parler.com on your browser and start tinkering around and checking that out as well. Amy, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for everything that you guys are doing over at Parler to ensure that there is a place still left for free speech and for content creators.
Isn't that the truth? Well, thank you for having me on to come on and talk about it. And looking forward to seeing what's around the corner in a few days.
That sounds good. Yes, there's going to be plenty to talk about. Well, we'll do it, and we'll definitely have you back, as always.
Sounds good. Thanks, Drew.
All right, Amy. All right, guys, check it out. Go get your Parler account back online if you have not already. There's no reason not to. It is awesome. The thing, I'm very close with a lot of people who are involved in the project there. And while I'm not going to share anything that I'm not sure what I'm allowed to share or not share, but I will tell you there's amazing stuff coming, and there's amazing stuff there right now. So go get Parler plugged back in on your phone, logged in on your laptop or whatever device you're using, and have that there. Make sure you follow me. Go search Drew Berquist there. You'll see it. Just look for this ugly mug and the verification check mark, and you'll know it's my account. Give that a follow.